Well, just kind of chilling. Video of a little bit of my apartment, partial. You can see my face partially, very partially, just like a maybe a corner of it. Trust me, you don't want to see this mug. It's ugly as hell, very ugly. But anyways, oh yeah, in the news today. Oh wow, the GOP. Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, a lot of the GOP establishment is coming out against Trump now. They got this hashtag Never Trump trending on Facebook and Twitter. This is crazy. It's almost like a GOP civil war. It's kind of exciting in a way because you know this could mean a big election gains for the Democrats, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But first, I kind of want to rub it in the GOP's face a little bit before I talk about what I think could happen in the election in November. The GOP created Trump. They created the monster. They laid the groundwork for Trump, and what you have to do to realize how they did that is you have to go back in time a little bit to about the mid 20th century, or mid to late 20th century, about the 50s, 60s, 70s, into the 80s and such. Well, 80s is late century, but anyways, I'm rambling. I'm a little, ooh, yeah. So, anyways, don't show too much of the ugly mug. But anyways, particularly in the 60s, what happened was, Johnson picked up the mantle of civil rights a little bit from Kennedy, probably to continue his legacy because Johnson was a damn racist. He used the N-word liberally, but he probably, picked up the civil rights as a to continue Kennedy's legacy in a way. I think that was his nod to Kennedy. But anyways, good things come from bad people. He did sign civil rights legislation, which I am the direct beneficiary of, as of millions of other people, particularly in these states we live in. I'm not going to tell you which state I live in, but you can probably guess if you just look at a couple of these other videos. It's not that hard to figure out which state I live in, even though I don't sound like I live in that state. Or do I sound like I live in that state? I think I sound like I live in Ohio. I moved to this state from Ohio, and I think I sound like I'm from Ohio. But I don't live in Ohio right now. I kind of wish I was in Ohio, but I'm not in that. I'm not in Ohio. I'm in another state. You'll know which one. It's kind of obvious, isn't it? Just look at a couple of those videos where I'm driving around. I mean, you look at that road sign. It's right there. Boom. Anyways, I'm sorry for that tangent. In the mid-20th, the 1960s Southern strategy. When Johnson signed that civil rights legislation, he ticked off his Southern Democratic base because up until then, the Southern states voted heavily Democrats. The Democrat was a conservative party back then. They had a wing of that party called the Dixiecrats, who were just outright racist. They appealed to the racist vote. Strom Thurmond. It is such an insult that Strom Thurmond has so much shit named after him in South Carolina. I don't give a fuck how long he was a senator in South Carolina. That man was an unrepentant racist and a hypocrite who fucked a black woman and had a baby by her. And I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry for being vulgar because I'm sick. This country is so swimming. Look at the white privilege video. I'm telling you, this country is swimming in it. That's another tangent. Anyways, yeah, the Dixiecrats. They were the racist. They appealed to the racist vote in white Southerners. But they were very angry at Johnson, what he had done. They felt betrayed by him. So, the Republicans saw opportunity there. Go ahead and appeal to those voters and take the Southern states. Wow, we can really win elections. Now, that's exactly what they did. Nixon, he appealed to that demographic. The silent majority speaking. That they got those clues. And, Nixon talked about, forced busing, and he was not. Listen to some of the Nixon tapes. That man was an outright anti-Semite, a bigot. He was, Nixon was, I've listened to some of those Nixon tapes, him speaking in the White House. Really, the impression I get from Nixon's character, He's a bitter man. I don't know why. I don't know if his mommy didn't hug him enough as a kid, or if he wasn't getting enough, or if he had a bad relationship with his wife or God, or what was wrong with that man's problem. He sounded so bitter, and he was corrupt, and he's like a freaking inspiration for Frank Underwood or something. Nixon's terrible. And he was a racist, and he had no problem appealing to racist people to win the South. Reagan, oh my gosh, Ronald Reagan launched his presidential campaign in 1980 in a speech in Philadelphia, Mississippi, saying he believes in states' rights. Now, states' rights down south is a euphemism for segregation. The states have the right to, put free association laws in there, which basically mean, colored people here, white people here. And usually, of course, the facilities for white people were better, or their schools were better. They got better resources, and the coloreds got their black people got the leftover. It was, separate and unequal, the way America was founded. Where the fuck was I going with this? God, this is why you can't do these videos, after, indulging too much. You're a little too tipsy and you can't... chemical reaction in your brain causes you to lose your train of thought. Reagan, his Mississippi speech, that was a joke. He told them, I believe in states' rights. And what was really add salt to the wound is Reagan, he did that damn speech at the same city where 16 years previously 2 white and 1 black civil rights worker had been murdered by Klansmen in the sheriff's office. The deputy was a Klansman, and he participated in murdering these 3 men. And Reagan goes to that same city where 16 years previously, 16 fucking years previously, most of the adults there remembered that. They were there. And he tells them, I believe in states' rights. Basically saying, I believe that it should be the way it was back in fucking 1964. Welfare queens. Oh, there's that welfare queen. You know what the country thought of who the welfare queen looked like. You know what they thought that welfare queen looked like. They weren't picturing Queen Elizabeth. Nuh-uh. They were picturing Elizabeth or Mary or Ashley or even Jessica. They were picturing Jaquita. Jaquita with her 8 kids from 4 different dads. Well, 7 if you count the hermaphrodite. I don't know how I got to that math. Math, not good. Never my strong subject. Always history, never math. Math sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Math is cool, whatever. Anyways, another tangent. That's a part of math, too. Yeah, that welfare queen, and then in the Bush, Papa Bush, supposedly the dignified one of the Bush family. He had his Willie Horton ad, and Jesse Helms in North Carolina with the hands. Those white hands crumpling up an application because some frickin' black man who probably isn't even qualified took your job because of affirmative action. Because if there's any discrimination in modern America, it is the white man who is losing because white male domination is forcing him as a white male to submit to minorities, and that makes sense in the mind of the mad man who is mad because he's too stupid to realize it is not black people that are holding him back, but it is the politicians that he puts in office who tell him to hate the black man while they pick his pocket. But he doesn't realize that because he has a scapegoat. He has a scapegoat. Same thing that Hitler did. Same thing that Donald Trump is currently doing. A scapegoat. A point where you can focus their anger and their rage and to deflect it from them, or deflect it from you. I mean, by you, I mean the powers, the elite that have always ruled this country. And yes, since day one, this nation has always been ruled by an oligarchy. Why the fuck do you think our founding fathers set up the Electoral College and this stupid voting system we have? Because they think that the masses are stupid. They think you're the unwashed masses. That's why they have delegates. That's why they have the Electoral College. That's why they have senators and the House of Representatives. Because they think that the elite should rule, and think about it, they always are the elite. The unwashed masses. You think Obama gives a damn about you? You think Bush did, or Reagan did, or Carter did? Well, actually, Carter probably did. He is a good Christian man, so Carter probably did, which is why he probably only lasted 4 years, too. You think, Truman or any of these people did? They don't care about you. You're the unwashed masses, and that's me, too. I'm the black unwashed mass. I'm even lower than you, pal. Assuming you're white. It's unfortunate, and I'm not I don't believe in a Messiah. I don't believe there's any human that can save humans. That's only God, and I know a lot of you out there don't believe in that, so go ahead if you have to, just troll away with your comments. I mean, I'm not gonna get like my usual usual YouTube comments you would get, like, oh yeah, you're a nigger, or you're a nigger, you're a nigger, oh you're a nigger. It just comes with being on YouTube. I've noticed anytime there's a picture of a black guy in the background, there's going to be an inevitable cascade of comments where they have to say nigger in order to feel superior for about, I don't know, 10 seconds, whatever that does, that little mental high. But I don't give a shit. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'm a nigger. Yes, that's right. Another tangent. Do not be intoxicated. But it's not fun to do these things sober. Anyways, oh yeah, I lose my train of thought, but I think I had a good train going too, and went on this stupid tangent about YouTube comments. Trump, he kind of is a YouTube comment section come to life. I mean, he's an outright fascist. Oh yeah, election scenarios. I want to go over that now. I'm not a political pundit. I'm not a genius. This is just kind of what I think could happen based on way things look now. March 6, 2016. I think it could be, possibly Trump versus Clinton in the Journal, which, it's not, Hillary Clinton's not that great, let's be honest. She's corporate as hell. She's a war hog. She's Republican light. And, I don't buy into this, Benghazi scandal. Benghazi. There's no conspiracy there. But I can see why people don't trust her. She doesn't come off as very trustworthy. I mean, that's unfortunate, but that's really how it is with Hillary Clinton. Do I think she'd be a good president? Not really. Honestly, no. I think she'd basically try to continue another 4-year term of Obama, which, while better than Bush, wasn't that great. Or wasn't that... I mean, it wasn't terrible. It really wasn't. But it hasn't been spectacular. Anyways, I kind of think what also would happen is, it could be Trump versus Clinton, and what would happen is Clinton would win in a landslide, because a lot of people, when they get into the voting booth, they just be like, whoa, do I really want Donald Trump to be my president, and they're going to vote no, and Clinton's going to win in a landslide. She may even put a few southern states in play that have a high black population. Well, no, probably not. But Clinton would win. Now, another scenario that could happen, I was kind of thinking about this, the last couple of hours as I watched some news coverage. What if it's, think about it, guys. What if it's Clinton versus Cruz? Which would be an interesting match. I mean, Cruz is a good debater. Cruz would be able to hit Hillary a lot on a lot of things. I mean, that Benghazi and email bullshit, I mean, it's gonna turn some Democrats off. Be like, wow, man, fuck Clinton. I don't really want to go out for her. They could really... Cruz would have a shot. He would legitimately have a shot at winning if it's Cruz versus Clinton. Now, the reason why I think Clinton would still win is Trump. I think what would happen is if, the Republican establishment is coming hard against Trump right now, very hard against Trump. Romney's come out, Paul Ryan's come out, talk radio. People are, the Republican establishment is turning against Trump. And, I mean, the man talked about his dick on the most recent Republican debate. They're kind of like in a panic mode right now because they probably see, what I was just talking about, a Trump versus Clinton is a disaster for them. They lose. So they want to stop him because they think that while Trump could sweep a Republican nomination with an angry conservative base, he would go down in a general, and they're absolutely right, and they're right to be concerned. Now, Ted Cruz, he has a legitimate shot, 101 against Clinton. He really could win that election. But I don't think he will because I think what will happen is Trump would be insulted. Trump, with his egomaniac ass, would be, oh, I'm going to run third party because they didn't do the deal. They turned against me. And in a way, he would kind of be right because he did say, if I feel disrespected or if the Republican Party doesn't treat me right, I'm gonna, I won't necessarily hold to that pledge. And if they are, they go to a broker convention, if, they sweep the nomination from him when he, had the most votes in the popular vote, he won the most states. He very well, I mean, I can't stand the man, but he kind of have a point there. Now, he knows he wouldn't win running against Cruz and Clinton. But see, Trump would do it just to spite the GOP. He would do it to take, 25 to 30%, or, 25% to a third of the GOP base with him, basically handing the election to Clinton because Cruz would lose so many crucial votes from that conservative base. And, that could even possibly, put North Carolina in the Democrat column because if he split that conservative base, North Carolina has a high minority population. They're going to go 90+% for Clinton. And that could put North Carolina, Virginia, that'll be Clinton's, Florida, Clinton, Ohio, Clinton, Pennsylvania, just all the swing states will go for Clinton if Trump and Cruz is in the race with her. Just crazy. And I think, now, I like Sanders. I think he has a good message. I think he does, unlike most politicians, have concerns for the average American. I just don't see him being able to win the nomination when we live in a country where socialism is a curse word. Unfortunately, I think one day it's very well a candidate like Sanders will surge and have no problems with it, being saying I believe in democratic socialism, but we still have a lot of the silent generation and a lot of the baby boomers who still have memories of the Cold War who are alive, and they hear that word and they don't like that. These people watch Red Dawn and shit. So I really think the Democratic nominee would be Clinton, but I think either way she's going to. Now, that scenario I just gave, those two scenarios, that doesn't mean crap. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, quote me later or something like that. I mean, I'm just saying, that's what I think. There's likely two scenarios. It's going to be very interesting. If either one of those two scenarios play out, I'll be like, wow, that's pretty good. If they don't, I'll be like, well, like I said, I went by the information I had as of March 6th of this year. It's very early in the election year. If I'm right, it doesn't mean that I'm a genius. It doesn't mean that I'm super intelligent or anything like that. It's just, I would happen to be right. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. I mean, it's just, but I'm not trying to be too cocky, I guess that's why I'm saying that. And I'm also not trying to be too humble, like, oh yeah, well, I'm an idiot, I just have to get lucky. I'm just trying to be middle of the road with it. I think I'm doing a terrible job trying to express how I'm trying to be middle of the road. I just really think this is an interesting election. What really concerns me about Trump is not so much him being president, because I think even if, let's say I'm wrong and somehow Trump overcomes Clinton on a one-on-one and he's president, I don't really think he's going to last that long as president, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to like the job, for one thing, because it's going to stress him out like he's never been stressed before. And he's going to feel like his low pay, $400,000 a year to Trump is a joke. I mean, he gets 400,000 in just interest every fucking 10 minutes or something. I mean, he's not gonna appreciate that. I mean, he's gonna get a nicer plane. He's gonna like that he doesn't have to pay for. He'll like the plane. He'll like living in the house. He'll think it's a nice house. It's the White House. But he's not gonna like the day-to-day job. He's not gonna like working with Congress. Trump is from corporate America. He's used to being a dictator. He's used to giving an order and it being executed, no questions asked. Trump doesn't understand working as an executive. He's fucking limited. He can't build a fucking wall. Congress does the appropriations, and Democrats in the House and the Senate are never gonna let Trump have the funding to build his fucking wall. That's not gonna happen. Trump isn't gonna be able to ban 1.6 billion people of a single religion from entering the United States. That's not going to happen. Trump isn't going to... What else stupid stuff he said? He's not going to make America great again. His tax plan's a fucking joke. It just cuts taxes for the rich, cuts taxes for businesses, which is the only thing Trump would even be interested in if he got into president, is putting more money in his pocket. He's a con artist, people. He scams people. That's his thing. Trump University, Trump Stage, Trump Towers. He's a fucking joke. He's a brand name. That's all Trump is. He built his entire business on his fucking brand and a real estate that he inherited, from inheriting money from daddy. He's not that brilliant. I mean, he's not stupid. He has above average intelligence. He knows what he's doing when he manipulates these dunderheads with his racist rhetoric. But he doesn't give a damn about them. He doesn't want to make America great. He doesn't care if he gets into office and he lasts a full term and his policies are a disaster. He'll be like, I try to get a try. Sometimes this happens. I'm a businessman. Things happen. Sometimes it doesn't work out. It didn't work out. I gave me a shot. I didn't make it. And I thought I could do it. I didn't do it. Things happen. Well, it's not my fault. This, and ISIS and. I'm a businessman. If it's great, he'll be like, see, I did it. I'm a businessman. I know what I'm doing. I know how to make America great. I told you I'll make America great and make America. The latter is not going to happen. Trump becomes president and makes it a full term without quitting or getting impeached. America's not going to be great. It's going to be a nightmare. The economy is going to be bad because he's going to start off trade wars. I mean, can you imagine what happens if this motherfucker gets insulted by, I don't know, let's say Putin fucking, mocks Trump at a press conference in Moscow. And Trump gets wind. He's going, first thing he's probably going to do is he's going to go on Twitter and make a stupid fourth grade vocabulary insult against Putin. Or, depending on how much the guy makes him mad, may order a nuclear strike. That's where he'd probably get impeached, because I can't see, the military signing off on a preemptive nuclear strike against a power like Russia or China because Trump was insulted in a press conference. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny because I know there's enough sanity. It's not that I have much faith in humanity, because I don't have any faith in humanity. But I just know it comes from knowledge that he's not going to be able to do something massively stupid like start a nuclear holocaust. But he will be able to do enough damage to, hurt the economy and also spread a feeling of fear and paranoia and acceptance of violence based on differences. And that's enough for tonight. If you watch this whole thing, bless your heart, as they say in the state I live in. Another clue. And damn, you must have been really bored because I'm bored at this point. Have a good night, day, whatever you're wearing.